Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to respect everyone's time and get started. If people come filing in later, then that's fine. It is being recorded, so if if you miss something or if you want to see the slides and stuff like that, that'll all be sent to you at the end. All right, so I'm so glad you are here. It is Cybersecurity Week. It's been a great week. I've attended a whole bunch of different cybersecurity based webinars that have all been amazing, trying to basically promote this to new students, promote cybersecurity. So this session today, it is going to introduce you to CodeHS as well, which offers other courses as well, not just cybersecurity. We offer computer science and stuff like that. But the main idea is just to promote cybersecurity. So we do have tools that will help you do that. But I want to make sure that this is not like a sales thing or nothing. Everything you see today is free, and you're more than welcome to use it in the free way. We just want to get the material out there. And we have some ways to help you do that if you're new at cybersecurity. All right, so let's get started. Go to the next slide. Let's see. Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, so this is me. My name is Jennifer Campbell. I am a curriculum developer at CodeHS. I've been a teacher for 11 years, coming up on 12 years. I started in January, just weirdly like that. I've also been a virtual teacher for, these are kind of like, some of them go along with each other. So I haven't been teaching for like 30 years. If you add them all up, they've all kind of overlapped. So I've been a virtual teacher for 7 years. I've actually even been a trainer for other virtual teachers for about 5 years now. And then a curriculum developer. I've built cybersecurity courses, computer science, and then also some math courses. One of my favorite was the Math of Finance. That was a great course to build. And here's the agenda. This is what we're going to look into today. We're only spending basically about 10 minutes on each of these sections, maybe a little bit more in the workshop to let you get your hands dirty and get into some of this stuff. But I don't want to, linger on anything too long. I want to be able to get to everything and have some time at the end for some questions as well. So we'll go over why to teach cybersecurity. Why is this all of a sudden popping up? We'll go over the CodeHS curriculum, what we have available for you, and the tools that come along with that. We'll show you all the free stuff. I might throw in some of the pro stuff in there too, but all the free stuff is all you need to run a cybersecurity course. And then we'll go over our course overview. Now, like I said, this isn't like you don't have to use our course, but it is good to look at what other people have so you can make your own decision. A lot of teachers kind of use our stuff for some, and reach out for other stuff as well. So it's really good just to see a layout of a course if you're planning on doing your own. And I will give you a in-person versus a virtual format. You can use our course in both formats. So you can teach it in person. You can also teach it, I always get them confused, asynchronously. So asynchronously, yeah, that's the one where they do it on their own. All these new words with the virtual teaching, right? And then we'll have a sample lesson workshop where you will actually get to go through the course a little bit and see what's going on. All right, let's get started. I do have some, it's not going to just be me talking. So I know there's not many of you in here, but I do want to get you guys in the chat and participating, as much as you feel comfortable with. All right, so why is cybersecurity important? There was a question that was asked to a cybersecurity expert. Basically, should every developer or technologist, so anyone who uses the technology or creates things, creates technological things, has the responsibility to some level of cybersecurity expertise? And the answer, anybody who builds something should want to build these things securely and safely. So we've even seen this recently, like with the TikTok app, and wondering if they're handling your data in the right way. There's so many things that have been built for good. If you think of even like Pokemon Go, but they have like some unintended consequences. People were walking into the streets and other people's yards. So there is all of this responsibility that goes along with creating anything, in the technological field. So it's definitely important, and it's doing nothing but growing. We've even had, that's the person's quote. This was not us. That was Manjin Mode. There's been so many cybersecurity fails. So I remember Equifax and Yahoo the most. I'm not sure if I remember the rest of them. I have to look in to see what happened. I don't remember them off the top of my head with Target and stuff like that, but Yahoo was huge. Yahoo was like billions of people. Equifax was pretty big as well. I remember even getting like something in the mail saying that I could get money, it would probably only be like $10. You know, it went out to like everybody, basically. A lot of people were affected by that. All right, so I do want to try something. I know there's not many of you. Don't write anything in the chat yet. This is going to be fun if you participate. So categories, and I throw these in there anyway. I've been a virtual teacher for a while and a virtual coach. So I throw in some of these, you know, teaching strategies every once in a while. So categories style, categories is basically you come up with, if you don't know what categories is, you come up with an answer. And if you have the same answer as someone else, then it doesn't count. So we'll just do like 2 quick rounds. So think in your head first, don't write anything in the chat. You want to name as many devices as you can that connect to the internet. So you could just brainstorm in your head. And then what we'll do is we'll have you each type one in the chat at the same time and see if anyone gets one that no one else named. So try to think of an outside one. And this is a great activity to do with your students too. All right, so think of a device that connects to the internet, one that you think no one else will guess. And put it in the chat, but don't hit enter yet. So type it in the chat, don't hit enter. All right, I'm gonna do this too, because I've got a good one. I've got one that I've actually got in my house that is just a randomly weird one. All right, if it's in there on 3, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and then you hit the enter and we'll see what pops up. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, good, we got Alexa. Everyone gets a point. So mine was a crock pot. I actually have a crock pot that attaches to the internet. I don't get it. My husband wanted it. And it makes really no sense at all because I work from home. I could always turn it on. But he's like, well, if I want to turn it on from work, I can do it. All right, let's try one more. I have to brainstorm. What else connects to the internet? Okay, I've got one. Type one in, but don't hit enter yet. Let's see if we can do one more. All right, when I say 3, hit enter. 1, 2, 3. Oh, someone got me. Ring doorbell, Nest doorbell. I feel like that's the same. A weight scale. Yes, that's a new one. I've seen that. Fitbit. Good job. We've got a lot of, we could go on forever. There's so many. That the point is that there's so many devices that it's, you know, connect to the internet. So, I mean, anything can be, with all the Internet of Things, just everything connecting, everything needs to be secured. Anything can be attacked. I have to look in. I've seen the weight scale one. Actually, I think they give you, I've seen where it's like connected to a coach. So you have to weigh yourself on the scale and it instantly goes to like your coach. Now that's like anxiety, but I feel like that would actually work. All right, excellent job. All right, so why cybersecurity? Why is this popping up? Why is this a new thing for students? Why do everyone, not even just students, why should everyone learn this? Because of all the recent hacks, because of all the devices that are now, you know, set up to connect to each other or the internet. Even just computer ethics. You know, think of the way that you know, I'm sure you know someone who is just always on their phone constantly. And, you know, like the research around that, it's not good, but people don't know it. You know, the way that people use social media sometimes is not the right way to do it. And people just don't know that. The education surrounding that is part of cybersecurity. Just basically the digital hygiene and knowing how to use the internet in the correct way that's healthy for you. And then why are we teaching it to our students? Because there's so many opportunities out there. It's not just good to know. There's cybersecurity can be in any profession. So you don't have to be like a security, you know, information security person or a system administrator. There's, you know, cybersecurity in every single field. So every industry needs someone to protect their website and all of those. And it pays really well. So it pays really well. You only need a bachelor's degree. In fact, I'm pretty sure as long as you're like self-taught and you like have enough experience, you know, have a portfolio of sorts, you could probably get a job without a bachelor's degree, which is really good for our, you know, career tech students. And then the job outlook is huge, 31% when you compare it to the average, which is only 4% growth. And that's in the next 10 years. So early exposure for students is wonderful. I only got into computer science in general like a few years ago. And I really wish I would have known about it earlier. And no one, you know, I didn't learn it in college. I didn't learn it in high school. And I was always really good at computers, but they sent me down the math route because I was really good at math too. So I was a math teacher for a while. But I really wish that someone would have come to me sooner with a really cool computer course or a really cool cybersecurity course. All right, so how am I doing with time? Let's see. Oh, I'm like 1 minute behind. I'm good. All right, so I want to go over the curriculum and tools that CodeHS offers. And like I said, it's there for, an option. It's all free. And it really just helps you if you've never taught a cybersecurity course before. It kind of helps you get a hold of things without being overwhelmed. There's a lot of, they're asking a lot of teachers, right now. So if there's anything that we can do to lighten your load, it's a wonderful thing. So we do have a course catalog. It's got plenty of courses, not just cybersecurity. It has AP Computer Science Principles. It's got AP Computer Science A. It's got middle school classes. We're actually working on adding in elementary content, but we don't have that yet. But we do have just a ton of stuff. Web design. We've got, I'm trying to think of one more. Game design, video game design. We've got a whole bunch in there. And it's very easy to set up for your students. So I'm going to actually have you go through this as a student in just a bit. But what you can do is once you set up a section, all you have to do, you can, put their emails in there if you'd like, but if you have a large class, that might take a while. So you can just send them a link and it will automatically assign them an account, right? They'll sign up for an account and then they'll be in your section. And I want to go over the differences, like how you can use our curriculum and our tools in either a live face-to-face or maybe something where your students are virtual. So I know a lot of teachers have a mix of this right now. It's maybe they're even teaching, my husband's a teacher and he is teaching like 7 kids in front of him and then like 7 kids on Zoom at the same exact time. It's really hard to facilitate, but we do have tools to help you do that. So asynchronous, of course, that's going to be where it is. Oh, I had this backwards last time, didn't I? So asynchronous is where it's available at all time. So this is like, I think this is best for when you present content and if you keep it short and concise. So we do have videos on our site and I don't think any of them are over 5 minutes. They're very short. And then synchronous would be like when you meet in a Zoom room like this, and this would be best for practicing the content. And you can do that with our stuff too. We do have helpful things. Now, this isn't cybersecurity. This is a different course, but we do have helpful things to help you pace your course. So this is a tool that we do have. Every course comes with a syllabus with each unit, showing you how many weeks or how many hours it should take. And then, so this is a cool thing. So this might be the only pro thing I show you, but there is a free version of this. So if you are dealing with students who are virtual, there is a way to check to see how long they've been on the activity, how long they've worked on the system. In this case, this screen that you're seeing right now, this would be a pro feature, but there is a free way of doing it. So the free way of doing it as well is for each of your students, you see this really cool activity map. So the activity map is basically the darker blue, the more they've used the platform. So basically, if your student was supposed to do something in this week of September over here, it looks like they only worked maybe on Wednesday. So they did not work the other days. So this is a really good way and a quick glance to see if your students are working. So if they're saying they're having difficulties, but then you look and it's nothing but gray, then that's why they're having difficulties because they haven't logged on. So a lot of these tools are really helpful. We have also other tools that can help you set up the structure of your course. So you can have lessons be available. You can lock lessons so students can't get ahead. You can even schedule them if you want them all to take a test on the same day. And same kind of going along with this. So that's just access, whether it's unlocked or locked, but you can also set a due date. So this would be, it would be always open for the students, but they have a due date. And if it goes past that due date, that's marked as late. And then, oh yeah, this is a cool GIF. Do you guys say GIF or GIF? I never know. I asked my sister once, I was like, do you say GIF or GIF? And she's like, I say GIF. And I'm like, that's definitely not it. I'm pretty sure she was joking though. So you can actually set up a course map like this and give that to your students, which would be really helpful to keep them on track. And like I said, you can set the due date. And if it goes, we just added something, a new setting where if they do it after, or if they don't do it and the due date has gone by, it will automatically give them a 0. And that's something that you can turn on or turn off. All right, so that's some of the tools that we offer. We also offer more like teacher specific type, not platform tools, but teaching tools, I guess. So we do have lesson plans. These are free for the first unit and everything. And then if you get the pro, you get all of them. But after the first unit, maybe you'll see what we're doing and then you can build on that if you want to use the free version. So this kind of it gives you the suggested time frame in a more granular, like for each thing. And it also includes offline assignments like printouts, handouts, get the students off screen for a little bit. And it includes discussion questions. So these are really good for, exit tickets at the end or bell ringers at the beginning. So we'll try one of these actually in a little bit in our sample lesson. All right, so I'm not going to force you to make an account. If you don't want to make an account, you do not have to. I'm still going to show you what it looks like. But, and let me put this in the chat. I did set us up a section today so that you could see, what it looks like from a student side. So if you'd like to see the cybersecurity course, you can go to that link and it's going to ask you for the course code. Now the course code is just the last part of that link. So it looks like it's 18AD8. All right, so that's the course code. So I'm actually going to just be quiet for a few minutes and let you do this if you choose to. If you don't want to do this, like I said, I will just go through it and you can just, watch my screen. It's a good account, it's good to have though, even if you're teaching other computer science things. Like I said, you don't have to use CodeHS, but we have a lot of stuff available. If you're just looking for that lesson on one topic, it might still have something for you. Okay, hold on. It's going to come back up. Okay, let me know if you have any difficulties. And then I'll go on to the next one in just a little bit. Oh, and if this is your first time setting up a teacher account, it will take maybe a day or two or something for you to actually get verified as a teacher. So you can still see everything. You're actually, you're being signed up. Is it signed up as you're signing up as a teacher, but we have to verify that you're a teacher before you get like the solution keys and all the answer keys, because we don't want students just doing that on their own. So it might take a day or two to get verified, but you'll still be able to do everything you need to do today. All right, so I am definitely a believer in discovery learning. So I am actually just going to I'll give you a little guidance on how to discover. Let me show you what it should look like actually before I get into that. And then I'll give you a chance to look through the activity. All right, so this is what it looks like from the teacher side. And the student side, what you are seeing is probably something like this. If you can't get to that screen, just either do the Q&A or just let me know in the chat. And when you click on Cyber Week Cybersecurity webinar, that will bring you to the whole course. And we actually have 2 cybersecurity courses. This is the first one. We do have advanced. I'll let you know a little bit more about that later. All right, so this is how CodeHS works if you've never done CodeHS. Everything is combined in, like, this is unit 1. And if you click on it, these are all the lessons. And if you click on the lesson, these are all the activities. So I am going to give you just some time to just look through it. Just look through it, click on a few things. Here's your kind of guidance for that. And I'll give you a good 3 to 4 minutes to just kind of check everything out. So I will be quiet. I'm not all for awkward silence, so I might put on some music in the background. You can, turn it off if it annoys you. But I'll be quiet now for a good 3 minutes and just let you explore. And if you need guidance, if you want to, see how to explore, I've got it up here too.
There's a lot to be thankful for this holiday season, like free pickup at Kroger on all your fresh favorites. We're talking juicy turkey, grandma's famous casserole, crunchy celery, the greenest of green beans, cherry pie, pudding pie, every single kind of pie, and a swig of apple cider before you go for seconds. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Right now, you can save on the food you love. Just buy 10 or more participating items and save 50 cents each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
How do you make a loaf of...
Sorry if you could hear my random ads. I don't pay for Spotify. I'll give you like 1 more minute and then I'll show it for those who didn't want to sign up or, just to kind of explore it together. All right, so I'm going to come back here and show you some of the stuff. that we have available in here. So what we have, and if you went through the guided steps, it just said to click on an activity. So all these little different icons stand for things, and you may have realized that as you were clicking things. So that's a video, then it's followed by a check of some sort. It's a check for understanding. So it's a little, the depth of knowledge is very low on those. It's just to make sure basically that they watched the video. And then there's a few activities, or I think I gave you the wrong icon actually. It looks like most of the activities in here are going to be free response. But I'll show you, let's see, let's click on one just so we can see like the more and what's available. Actually, let me show you this because there's a lot really useful stuff in the programming unit. So there is a little bit of programming because this is aligned to a certification that requires it, but you can take out and put in as needed. But let me show you one of these anyway. So programming with Carol. Carol is our dog that we teach, like you would give a computer instructions, you give the dog instructions. And some cool tools is the students can run the code, or, if it's a free response, they can just type in here and you will be able to see everything that they do from your end. And a few awesome things is you have a conversation over here. So you can actually talk to your student can send you and information. Oh, and look what's coming next. It's only in beta, but you can send a voice memo. Oh, how cool. That'll be great once that's released to everyone. Then you have the solution to yourself. You can check on the slides. The students can look at the slides if they want to refresh their memory on what was in there. And then students can share their code. And very cool here is history. Now this is really good, especially for the coding ones, or for any of it though, because you can see what the student did at what time. So this is helpful unfortunately, in cases of like cheating, and when students find the answer and they just copy and paste it. So if they have nothing here and then like a second later they have everything, then you can tell that they just copy and paste it. So it's really good, like cheat detection tool. And then also to see if they struggled. So you can see, how long it took them to complete each question, if it's like a free response. All right, so let's go back and let's go over what's in this actual course. And how am I doing on time? I fell behind a little bit. I think I'm okay though. And now Zoom is overheating my computer. I think I'll be okay. All right, so our cybersecurity course is, we say 10 to 12. Some ninth graders, you could definitely give it to ninth grade if they are, just a very disciplined group, definitely. It is designed for students with some exposure to computer science because it has that programming unit in there. But I definitely know that, like I said, if they're disciplined students, if they're hardworking students, they can definitely do this without any computer science. So this is our pathway that we suggest. We do, suggest that students take maybe like a web design or introduction to computer science or even AP-CSP, and then go into fundamentals of cybersecurity and advanced cybersecurity. So basically 3 courses in 4 years. So if they get that done early, they can go on someplace else, or they can take, a different course as well if they want that 4th year course. All right, so what I think actually just separates us from all the other curriculum that's out there for cybersecurity is that our stuff is entirely web-based. So everything the students do is right there in the web browser. So they don't have to download anything. They don't have to download a shell or go through their actual settings on their computer and mess things up. They don't have to do any of that. There's simulations that make it look like they're doing things when it's actually just a program, just an app that we've created. And every learning module is made up of video, then example programs, quizzes, simulations, and stuff like that. And it is designed for a year-long class that meets 5 days per week. But we have had students, schools use it in different ways, like block scheduling, and some teachers like to do self-paced, and we have supplemental activities if if students go too fast. Some teachers like to keep it very structured and do the same thing, with all the students every day. So lots of different ways you can use it. All right, so here's the module breakdown. The reason that new is there is that we did have an older cybersecurity course and we added to it to make it better. So I did want to just leave that in there just in case we had anyone in here who actually used our cyber course, just so they know what's new. So we have what is cybersecurity, just the introduction. We have that digital citizenship, which before I said was truly important, like to just know how to use the technology in the correct way that's healthy for you and healthy for others. We did throw in programming fundamentals in there. It's a very, very basic programming. It's much more simpler than like our other programming courses. And then we also have cryptography, is probably my favorite thing. After that, we have system administration. So students look at different operating systems and software security. So now they look at operating systems and software, and now they figure out how to secure it. And then they start looking into networking. So networking is part of cybersecurity as well. It's definitely included. So it's like security part and the network part. And in the network fundamentals, they learn how the internet actually works and how networks, connect to each other. And IT infrastructure is another new one. So this, they actually learn about the physical devices. So the motherboards, the RAM, the routers, all of that physical devices of a computer. And then also networking devices and storage options and just everything that goes into building a computer system. There's also some projects. There's a public service announcement that students build on that digital citizenship material. And then a newscast where they can dive into a new kind of classic cipher and security assessment report. This one's really cool. This one, there is a site that's out there that is faulty on purpose. So students kind of explore it and write up a report of how it could be better. And then there's also a new troubleshooting one. So troubleshooting is more lines like the networking and stuff like that. Not a problem, Rose. Have a great day. Looked like someone was leaving. Just wanted to give them a goodbye. And then there's supplemental material. Like I said, if you have the students that work a little faster, we have all this extra stuff. Cryptocurrency is available, and that one's really big. That one's like 60-something activities. That one's pretty big. Digital forensics is smaller. It's just like a project, but this one's a lot of fun. And we also offer web development, and then there is a little bit of SQL in the software security module. So then if students really like working with SQL, we have SQL Part 2, the SQL. All right, so this is kind of what some of our simulations look like. This would be a phishing simulation. So the phishing simulation is students get to click. So you can see in my GIF that we're just clicking things, and then they get to decide whether it is actual email or a phishing email. Another example would be, we can show them how they're actually, can be tracked. So you can tell what buttons you're pressing on the keyboard. You can tell what buttons you're pressing on the mouse. Basically anything you do can be tracked. So that's just another simulation just to get the students doing interactive activities and clicking on things. It really makes a huge difference. And what a big thing is that our first course, Fundamentals, is actually fully aligned to a certification. So a cybersecurity certification. It's the CompTIA ITF certification. So it's fully aligned to this. And it includes actually some objectives from the higher certifications as well. It doesn't fully, cover those, but it does cover some from all three of those that you see there. And then, like I said, we do have an advanced cybersecurity, which even touches on more of those higher certification objectives. All right, you guys ready to go dive in and try some? So I'm going to do, I've got 2 lessons for you. I've got 2 lessons for you here, and it's going to be low expectations. I know there's not many of you in here, but I still want to keep it upbeat and, have as much fun as you want with it. So I'm going to go over 2 lessons. We're not going to go through them strictly as if you were the student and I was the teacher. I'm still going to throw in a whole bunch of teacher guidance and stuff and suggestions. And one of them will kind of go through like we were doing like a Zoom class like this, synchronous. And then we'll go through one if we were to give it to a student as an asynchronous type lesson. All right, so if we were going to do, we're going to do the synchronous one first. So we're all going to do it together. So I want you to go into your course and find digital footprint and reputation. Now, let me go back into, because sometimes, and this happens to students too, sometimes you get lost. Like right now, if we're in here, I want to show you how to get back to the beginning. So if you want to get back to the actual outline of the course, you can click over here. So it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter which one you're in down here. You can also go back and forth through here. But if you click over here, this is the entire course. So you want to click on digital citizenship and then digital footprint. And you can just click on the first item. And if you ever get lost and you want to get back to that main screen, because I love the main screen better than that sidebar. So the main screen, you can just go to, I believe it's my sections on the student one. So if you go to my sections and you just find the course that you're enrolled in, then you can get back to that main section, which is probably my favorite view. Not, see, that's the teacher view. All right, it looks different for me since I've got, since it's teacher, but it should look like, here we go. This will be the student view. Should look like something like this for you. And then you get back to this first view. I feel like I went through that really fast. Sorry. But what we want to do is we all want to get in the same spot. So digital citizenship, digital footprint. And we're going to go to the first video. All right, so this is what I would do as a teacher if I were doing it in a synchronous format. I would bring them into the Zoom room, good morning, blah, blah, blah. And then I would let them know the agenda, kind of like what we did today in the webinar. I was able to tell you what we're going to work on. So these are all the items in this lesson. So here's just a suggestion, I guess. Of course, every teacher's different, but we're going to do these 3 together. Then we're going to do those 2 in groups. And we're going to get to the groups. We're not really going to group you guys, but I'll kind of like fake it. And then at the end, you'll do those 2 on your own. So that's really just a way to tell the students what we're working on and make sure that they're in the right spot. All right, so we're actually going to start with a warm up. All right, so in the chat, if you guys can help me out here, what words do you associate with the term identity? So what do you think of when you hear identity? I know I haven't asked you a question in a real long time, and now I'm like, come on, type in the chat. Thank you, Veselin. Anyone else? Let's see if I can think of one. Identity. Personal information. I might just be making that up. All right, I know we don't have many people in here, so I'm just going to come up with a few. Let's see. Identity would be, I guess, what you are, like maybe even personality, right? That's still your identity, right? Who you are. And I just use this as a way, this is a cool tool to kind of use for students. So you would do a warm up with them. Oh, this came out really cool looking. I like that font. And then after that, you would move forward. So next on our lesson, we are going to do these 2 together. We're going to do the video and then the social media cleanup. So everyone's going to go to their video. Now you have options as a teacher. I'm jumping out now as the teacher role and coming down just to all teachers. So you have options. You can have the student play. It plays through YouTube, or if YouTube is blocked, you can play through CodeHS. It's hosted on our website. So all you have to do is like whitelist CodeHS and that will work if you have things blocked. Or as a teacher, if you get better with this content, if cybersecurity is new for you, just use a video. If you get better with the content, you can go to slides and then teach it yourself. So this is another way that you can kind of use our material in different ways. So we can go through these slides. So let's see what this first lesson is about. So digital footprint is very important to students. This would probably be, I know it's included in this course as, like high school, but this is something that probably should be touched upon even earlier than that with students in social media and all of that. So you can go through these slides, right? And just let let the students know what digital footprint is. The internet makes it easy to share, but you can't delete and all of that. The internet is public. I'm going to go through this quickly because I don't want to, I'll let you kind of go through it on your own. So it gives you a few social media guidelines, and that's just for the teacher. Don't worry about that. And then once you're done, you can go to their next shared activity. So what we're going to do is down here on the bottom, I want everyone to click on social media cleanup. And if you're working with me, if you want to explore it, later, you can do that too. So I'm just going to go to social media cleanup. I want to show you one of the simulations that we have for the students. So this might look intimidating to students, but they don't have to touch it. It's just there for the students who maybe are just interested in it, students who have taken web design already, but they do not have to touch it. Just this green will let them know. Click on See HTML in new window. So we're going to do that. And this is a simulation. So this is a fake social media site that students can clean up. So basically they want to look at the post and save the good ones. Like this one's just about studying. That one's fine. This one's about partying. We might not want that, so we can delete that. This one looks like it's about cutting class, so we definitely don't want that one. And then you can actually write new ones. I am a good person. That might be something good to, post on your social media. So students just kind of have this way of interacting and clicking around. They can click over here and see what's good and what's not. And then after all of this, there's always a like follow-up. So if you go to the next activity, it will have students reflect on what they did. So this one's saying, give an example of the post that builds a positive digital footprint, give an example that builds a negative digital footprint. So it's going to have students reflect on what they were able to click on. So we're not going to do all of this, but let's see what else is in this lesson. The next thing would be group work. So you can actually use our material in a group format. We just released collaborative coding as well. So when you're in the coding world, when you're in that coding module, you can have students actually pair programming and working together on the same thing. But I wanted to give you this idea that I've used in the past, and it works pretty well if you're a Google fan. So what you could do is you can have students in breakout rooms, like if you use Zoom or anything, you can have them in breakout rooms. And if you just send them to a Google Drive or a OneDrive drive, it doesn't have to be Google. But the way you can set this up is you can give them an activity by breakout room. So breakout 1, breakout 2, breakout 3. So if students in breakout 1, they would click on this one. And if they're in breakout 2, they would click on this one. And they're all the same exact thing, but it's a way of kind of virtually spreading your students apart. And then in there, just have directions for them. So this is really good. I had to be really, really specific with these students because, they get in a breakout room and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? So literally I told them to say hi to each other. But this would be a really good way of, you can go into each document and see what students are doing. You can go into each breakout room and see what students are doing. And it's all saved because, at least in Google, you can check to see who wrote what. So in this, if you check the version history, you can see who wrote. It looked like Claudia did most of this because this is all orange. Now that might be fine if we said, have a note taker. But if we wanted, Ebony to do some of this as well, it looks like she did not. So there's my idea for group work. And then on your own, then you can send the students on their own to do the quiz, and then maybe that last free response. Do you guys have any questions up till now? I've got one more quick thing, and then we're almost done, actually. But I want to let you explore one more lesson. All right, so lesson 2, this second workshop lesson, we'll do like it was an asynchronous lesson. So basically, you are just sending your students out there. Everything is on CodeHS for you, ready to go, and they just go through it. So this is another option of how you can use our system. So we want to find network management. Now, I am going to have you go into this one and kind of explore on your own. So I do want to make sure that you're able to find it. So if you're in, get rid of this too. If you're in, no, leave, just leave. If you're in building a positive, what is that? Digital footprint. Remember, you can get back this way. So we're going to get back over here. We're going to go to IT infrastructure all the way at the bottom. Awesome. Thanks, Madeline. Yeah, they're good. They're really good. So IT infrastructure down here. And we're going to go to network management. This is one of my favorite lessons. So we're going to go to network management and click on the first one. Now you'll see this one actually doesn't start with a video. It starts with a notes item. And this is basically just to make sure that students understand the difference. Probably most students have Windows, but in cybersecurity world, Linux and Mac OS is huge. So we do want them to know both. But since everything is web-based, they can still learn Mac if they're on a Windows. They can still learn Windows if they're on a Mac because we've built simulations to kind of look like that. All right, so this is what I would tell students. Now this lesson is pretty big. So this might be a 2-day lesson, which it would tell you in the lesson plan. So I might tell students on day 1, on Thursday, you want to get through those, those lessons. And then on Friday, you can get through those lessons. So we definitely have a few minutes where we have the time available. I want to leave some time for questions, but since there's not many of you in here, I don't think I need that much time for questions. I want to give you a good 5 minutes, which 5 minutes sounds like it's not long, but in webinar time, in time where you have to just be quiet, it is pretty long. So I want to give you about 5 minutes to just explore all of the stuff in this lesson. So you want to get through the notes, the video. You want to see if you can just get through all of it, really. Even though it's more like 2 days, I want you to check out these simulations because I think they're really, really cool. And then we'll go through them and see if you have any questions. Then that's going to be it for the webinar. So I'll give you 5 minutes. It's 42 for me right now. So let's 47. And I am just going to be quiet. And let me know if you have any questions in the Zoom, but you want to see if you can get through this lesson. All right, I'll be quiet now and go explore. All right, excellent. I'm back. All right, so a few cool things in here. Just if you didn't set up or if you're just watching this as a recording, I guess, if you didn't set up an account, we do have this terminal simulation. One of my favorite things that we have in the course. So what you can do, I mean, you can open it in a different one. This one works pretty well in our editor. So in here, you can use all of these commands, and then we have it like this one would be Mac, but we also have the different commands for Windows. So you can see what a netstack command might look like. You can see, all the other commands as well. It even works, that was the ls command. It even works almost like a terminal where you can go up and see the last couple, commands that you had in there, or you can clear the whole thing. So pretty cool kind of way of getting them to use a terminal, getting them into this experience of using one of these, but not messing up their computer. And then another way that we kind of get around that as well is we have this video. So I may mute it, but this one's different than, yeah, let me mute it. It's different than the other ones because it's more like an exploration. The students will kind of look at someone using the terminal, right? Using the commands and command line interface, and then they'll have to reflect on what they see. So, like right here, they are, typing something. It messed up. Something happened. There it is. And then this is another way. This would be Windows. So another way that students can kind of explore this without exploring it and messing up their computer. And then they can pause the video right down with it. And then they'll follow. And then lastly, we have another kind of simulation where students are looking at logs, like event logs. And we have it's a guided exploration because this can be very intimidating at first. So looking at all of this is just a lot of words, but we have these buttons basically that students can click on and it will give them a little bit information about this. And then there's follow-up questions. So follow-up questions and students can figure out if someone was trying to get in illegally, if they were trying to guess passwords and stuff like that by looking at the event logs. That is all I've got. I ended a bit early and I know we probably don't have much questions, but I am going to stick around for a good 5 more minutes. If anyone has any questions, please, feel free to type them in the chat or even just share your mic, the Q&A, anything I've got available. Let me know if you have any questions. If not, thank you so much for coming and enjoy the rest of your day. I think that's it. Like work's almost over. So Friday, end of Cybersecurity Week. Thank you so much for participating. Have a great day, everyone. I'll stick around just for a bit if you have any questions.